General Milley's plan. That's what they're saying. It's Milley. He's not using General Milley's plan.
Welcome back to Truth Hurts. We expose corrupt politicians, the lying corporate media, and the political establishment that hate you, they hate me, they hate anybody in the grassroots, they hate the common person. The system is rigged. Do you not know that? The system is completely rigged. Hunter Biden, just look at this. If you're the president's son, you get away with anything, it seems like. 2 misdemeanors, like a little slap on the wrist. You can break federal crime laws, which I'm not even supportive of those crime laws. But, yeah, the system's rigged. And that's what we do on the show as we give you the truth. Sometimes it hurts, but we're going to give you the truth. Joining me, as always, political junkies, Jesse Smith, otherwise known as Mega Jesse. How you doing, Mega Jesse?
Yep, good to be here. We got a lot to expose to Keith Ellison and others, so, yeah, ready to get into it.
Also, Mr. Straight-Laced himself, William Beck.
You might be onto something with that Truth Hurts thing. That'd be a good show name. That's the joke, Jake. That's the name of the show.
Yeah, I know. That's how I started the whole show out. Welcome back to the Truth Hurts.
No, I know. You're saying the truth hurts sometimes.
We're really bringing our A game.
Wow, we are bringing our A game.
No,
it's
a dry humor.
You ruined the humor.
You ruined the joke by...
That doesn't count as humor. That was... Okay. Running the dials as always, Deep State Dawson.
Let me know in the comments if you thought that was funny.
I'm funnier than William.
Don't comment on it. I don't want to hurt his feelings. I got to give him crap. Unfortunately, William had a terrible attempt at a comedy there, I guess.
A terrible attempt at a comedy.
A comedy. There you go.
You're better at a comedy than I am, I suppose.
This is what the show's going to be today. We're just rip on each other. Because I never do that. I'm always nice and considerate to you guys. I've never ripped on you. You didn't tune in to hear that. You tuned in to get some news, right? From an angle that I guess you don't get anywhere else. Let's pull up the first article here, and this is the big story. We published this yesterday. Keith Ellison is joined by 14 other attorneys general all across the country, including the District of Columbia, right? So they've got an attorney general in District of Columbia. I guess I didn't really know that, although I guess you could consider like a city attorney. God, my back is in so much pain right now. I've got like this awkward posture. Anyhow, I'm going to try to make it through this program. Shouldn't have deadlifted that last was that last week? Whatever. No, actually, it's Keith Ellison and the left-wing Democrats in the state that break my back.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
Plus, my wallet is getting smaller because of all their taxes.
Ooh.
I just saw St. Paul. Did you see this? St. Paul is going to try to raise their sales tax by 1%.
Yep. Well,
a
lot of cities in the metro are doing that.
Right, and they've already raised it in the metro by the state legislature. So it's like the pain never ends.
Yeah, I'm just going to be shopping in Hudson for all my stuff from now on.
Apparently. That's what we all got to do. Okay, so Keith Ellison, he pens this letter to the CEO of Target. Now, as you guys know, I don't need to tell you this, right? Target obviously gotten a little bit of heat with some of their customers, and by some of their customers, a lot of customers. Enough where it actually has hurt their stock value. And the number one role of the leadership team at Target should be, providing value to their shares, because they have the interest of the shareholder in mind. But that's not how Keith Ellison sees the world. Keith Ellison, Antifa sympathizing Keith Ellison, Soros-backed Keith Ellison, he wants to make a statement on Target. Now, maybe saw this in the news, but we saw something really interesting that I don't think anyone else has been covering. We actually looked at this letter. Go to actionforliberty.com, and you can follow the story. Click on, I've got a link on the very bottom there to the letter. Yeah, there you go. Attorney General Keith Ellison, the letter. And I'm going to pull this up on my page here real quick. And in this letter, he uses what I would consider a veiled threat. So go to the bottom of page 2.
Yep, written to the CEO of Target.
Yeah. And so this is the Minnesota. So this is what they write. The Minnesota Human Rights Act, and they've been talking about all the other laws of other states. The Minnesota Human Rights Act, MHRA, currently prohibits discrimination based on sexual orientation or gender identity. I'm going to stop right there. Do you guys know why that's important? Because we reported on this in May, right? The Democrats in the state changed that law. to include pedophilia in the definition of sexual orientation. Because before that, it said sexual orientation is not sexual attachment to children by adults. They changed that. They got rid of that clarification. So essentially, now pedophilia can be considered sexual orientation.
Mm-hmm. Just wait until there's a lawsuit about this. Someone gets fired for diddling a kid. I bet their lawyer might pull this up.
Yep.
I don't know if I agree with that yet, because you can't still physically touch a kid, physically assault a kid.
Well, at the very least, there'd be a conflict in state law.
No, I don't agree with that either. I think it's still criminal to act on the pedophilia, but more importantly, if they had a book.
Oh, or if they just said something. Oh, like Finke. Yeah, you mentioned that. Yeah, I wouldn't hire Lee Finke.
Wait, what do you mean about Finke?
With the book targeting Christian kids.
Books targeting
gotcha.
children,
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. So let's see. It goes on. The reach of the MHRA extends to the full, and this is a quote, full and equal enjoyment of the goods and services of places of public accommodation. What? The MHRA also prohibits any person from intentionally obstructing or preventing any person from complying with the act. So basically, the MHRA applies to everybody, everywhere, anytime. As long as it's in the full and equal enjoyment of goods and services in the public, what does it say, places of public accommodation? Mm-hmm. So essentially, the only argument you can have about LGBTQ and pride is in the confines of your home. I mean, quite frankly, who disagrees that that's what these guys want, right? So that's literally what these guys say to the CEO of
Keith
Target.
Ellison is kind of linking, saying that if Target isn't selling these products, that it's discrimination. It's not discrimination. Target has every right to choose what they want to sell and what they don't want to, and the public has every right to protest it if we disagree with it. So, Keith Ellison is trying to make it seem as if it's discrimination if you don't have swimsuits so that children can hide their genitals.
Well, and I just take issue with the fact, or the implication, that people are like going and harassing Target workers. Like, I'm sure there's been some of that.
Yeah, I've seen some videos where people go in, tear down the displays, things like that. But
I've
it's
seen
a small
some really
number.
funny ones. I've seen like where people grab all this Pride merch. They'll go up to the register. They'll let the person scan it, take off the hangers, and they'll be like, "Oh, I forgot my wallet." And they just leave. Like, yeah, it's annoying for the workers. I wouldn't call that harassment, though. I think it's just funny. You know what I mean?
And then of course you got that boycott Target song or whatever that was.
That was also good, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's crazy. So they go on, and this is the veiled threat. They write, Indeed, and this is on the last page if you want to look it up, actionforliberty.com, we got it posted. Indeed, all our states have laws protecting against discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity in places of public accommodation like Target stores. Okay, so forget about private commerce. We own all areas that are not, I guess, considered your private residence. But they probably think that too, because they're communist. While these laws certainly do not create a legal obligation for retailers to offer any particular merchandise or create any particular displays, for now, can you imagine? They probably think they can do that too. They do demand that customers be treated equally. In this context, and here's the veiled threat, we urge Target to be mindful of its obligation under these laws as it makes decisions as how to represent or respond to backlash against its Pride merchandise. What on earth are they doing? Well, we know what they're doing, of course. I mean, they're trying to push. This is what happens. It's called the Overton window. The left and the right push, and the people with more power push the window in a certain direction. And they see, because this is a goofy one to the left, they're not just seeing this come from the conservatives. They're seeing a lot of regular Americans, a lot of regular Minnesotans going, I'm sick and tired of this stuff being pushed and our children being groomed and all that kind of stuff. And quite frankly, it's the Pride LGBTQIA community with the P. They've gotten so crazy that they're going into like this transgender area that most people really are not on board with. I don't think a lot of people really care so much about the typical gay agenda these days, right?
Well,
but
when you say the gay agenda,
what's that?
When you say the gay agenda, it implies that I don't know if people have issue with homosexuals as people. When you see the agenda, that kind of implies that, like, all right, this must be a public thing, it must be pushed on people. Must be in our schools. We got to teach about homosexual history. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. All I'm saying is the pride thing is not new. Like, they've been doing this for years. So what's the difference? And I think the difference now is that it's gotten so out of hand that they're like pushing it on children so much, and they're adding this transgender stuff. Because there are groups like Gays Against Groomers that does exist. So it's not like the whole gay community is on board with this nonsense. And then, of course, they're getting such backlash, which is, quite frankly, pretty funny to us. Well, what are the, it's crazy that we're living in this world now. We got attorneys general going after private corporations and their customer base, which have a responsibility to maximize profits for their shareholders, or to at least provide value back to their shareholders. And it seems like the reason that they're moving merch is to do that exact thing. And the attorney general is saying, nope, can't do that. Can't do that at all.
So
Well,
we
the,
have
the goal of Target isn't to push an agenda. At least it shouldn't be. It's supposed to just be a store. It's supposed to just be where you can pick things up where you need something. So it's interesting that Keith Ellison thinks that they have to adhere to some mission that they probably don't even have.
Well, and we should talk about BlackRock and Vanguard in a minute, but I want to read this one comment we have in the live chat. Magyar 1880 says, "If I were a Target exec, as woke as they are, I would threaten to move HQ to a less litigious state. Keith Ellison and the Dems have destroyed Minnesota by pursuing this."
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just so many reasons to drive businesses out of the state. But, of course, they like Target because Target's kind of been helping them pioneer this revolution of crazy
Well, remember,
left-wing
Target
ideas.
supported, the Black Lives Matter
Right.
raids of Target. They basically said that it was no big deal, that, yeah, go ahead, come in and loot our stores. So Target's been this way for years.
But they do make a good point. Like, I'm sure Target will be like, will give in and put their Pride merch back up. But look at what happened with Mayo Clinic. The second that they pushed back on the state legislature, the legislature's like, all right, we'll make an exemption for you.
Yeah.
Like these big corporations who do donate to Democrats, they do have a lot of sway with legislators.
Right. And I never, under any pretense that they're like not going to get their special carve outs and laws and stuff like that.
Right.
And really, like, is it a threat? I mean, it's a veiled threat. It's a little goofy, but these guys are made behind closed. This is actually what this is. It's virtue signaling, right? It's these attorneys general acting as if we're fighting for the LGBTQ-IAP agenda, two-spirited plus whatever else. And once again, I can't understand the A part of the LGBTQIA. Like, who's standing up for the asexuals? Why does that need advocating? Or the Q, the questioning?
I think that's queer.
Oh, I thought it was questioning. We talked about this before, didn't we? Okay, A. I'll stick with A. Asexual. They don't need representation.
Well, I think the I is the most interesting part, isn't that?
Interdimensional?
Oh, you know what? I was about to say indigenous, but it's intersex. See, I'm just so confused about all the letters are, because they also have like the black and the brown in there for the black and brown people. Because
That's what the wait. So when you look at the trans flag, that's what it is.
the black and the brown. Yeah, they're trying to lump like
they're
black
against the
people in
yellows?
there.
Well,
The
why
yellows?
can't Asians get any representation?
I forget what the yellow stands for.
Well, no, but yellow is Asian, right? That's generally how it's.
Well, yeah, but they don't like the Asians.
Oh, I didn't know they had
Because-
beef against Asians.
Well, I mean, when you look
This
at
is news to me.
affirmative
Tell me more.
when you look at affirmative action, like it discriminates.
Oh,
against
fair
Asians.
enough. That's a good point. Yeah.
Fresh out of bad points.
So
Jake.
black and brown. Yeah, I've never diagnosed this flag. What does it say on Wikipedia? Let's look it up. Look at the
Meanings of the colors.
trans flag colors. This is interesting stuff. If you know at home, please chime in.
Well, it depends on what version of the flag you're looking at, right? Because
Oh yeah, not this one. I'm talking about the pride flag.
Yeah, the one with all the colors.
the most recent version, like the one with the triangle that goes
It's that one
in
up
the
there on the
center.
top left. Let's see here. What do we got?
Not even that one. There's a more recent version
No,
with a
it's
circle
there. Keep
in
going
it.
down. Asexual. Oh my God, there's colors for every single one of these things.
So they've
Intersex is-
incorporated that one, the yellow with the purple circle. If you
Do you
look at the most recent version of the pride flag, they have
Wait, the
that in
lesbians have a flag? Oh wait, no single flag designed for lesbians. Okay.
there. Just goes to show how the LGBT movement discriminates against women, right?
They have 6 flags.
Wait, what is this?
Orange and pink.
What is that one in the top left there? Oh, that's so funny. It's like I thought it was like a barbarian flag or something. That's
Oh
funny.
man. Oh jeez. There's so many comments I have right now. Pansexuality, transgender. Let's keep going down. Eventually we're gonna find this pride flag.
I thought that was the Italian flag for a second.
Oh my god. Romantic attraction based flags? What's this?
Oh, do they have maps on there?
Polyamory.
They have a polygamy flag. Interesting.
It's not polygamy. That says, what does that say?
This one's polyamory.
Polyamory.
This one's also polyamory.
Well, what's the difference?
One was made in 1950.
Polyamorous, that means polygamist.
No, it doesn't.
No, polygamy is, I guess you're married, right?
Polyamory.
Yeah.
Polyamory is you
Definition.
can love
Okay,
many people.
yeah, so it's
Polygamy is you can get
okay. It's
married to
polygamy without marriage.
The practice of engaging in multiple romantic relationships with the consent of all the people involved. Okay.
This
Good
is
to know that
fast.
they're consenting. to it.
Gender
Well, yeah,
identity
because I guess
based
you'd just be a
flags.
cheater if they weren't.
Oh, okay. I guess that's a good distinction. I thought it was like forcing someone against your will. to
Well, hold
progress.
on. Before we go to the progress flag, I'm sorry, because that is where we're going. Oh, they got a Jewish pride flag. Go back up real Philadelphia, United States
Canadian pride
people. Oh, my
flag.
God. This is insanity.
That's really funny.
Go back up real quick. I want to look at these ones. So gender fluid has a flag.
So I was at Michael's the other day, and they have all those identity-based flags for sale, which was crazy to me.
By the way, I'm sorry for everyone
This is
that's
why we go to
listening
Hobby
to this podcast and not watching it. We are looking at just what did you do? Wikipedia for pride flag?
Wikipedia.org/wiki/pride flag.
Okay, enjoy. Just enjoy. If you're listening to this, enjoy when you watch. You go to the internet and do that.
There's
All
no
right.
cisgender flag, and I'm kind of surprised.
Well, that's just so.
Elon
I'm
Musk
sure there
just
is.
said that cis and cisgendered is a slur on Twitter.
That
saw
was
that.
that was. I'm pretty sure that was satire.
I'm sure it was.
No, I think he's serious because he was saying that
It's not. Well, what
he
is he going to
prefaced
do?
it with like harassment is not tolerated on Twitter. Continued harassment with words like this will not be allowed. Something like
So
that.
he's going to delete tweets?
I get or like ban people.
That
Yeah.
ain't too
Hmm.
free speech.
Yeah, doesn't
right.
seem like free speech to me. I mean, obviously, cis and cisgendered are stupid, but yeah,
Lee
I don't know.
Finke
I was hoping that Elon was just being provocative.
Oh, he is being provocative. It pissed off all the right people.
Mm-hmm.
What were you gonna say about Lee Finke?
Oh, Lee Finke got really pissed about that tweet.
You know, it's
Chris
it gives a shit
Finke
about
too.
Chris
Before
Finke.
someone corrects
You know, I was
me.
thinking about this the other day. If gender is just a social construct, as these people like Finke say, why do they always change their name to a more effeminate name? Right? They're
Why
just-
do they
aren't they
dress
lean-
like a woman?
Yeah, why do they dress like a woman? Aren't they just leaning into the social construct if they take on a feminine name?
Well,
Chris Finke should say Chris Finke. Why are you changing to Lee Finke?
Yeah, Chris is what's the word I'm looking for? It's a unisex name. You could have stuck with Chris, but you wanted the attention.
That's right. Yeah, perhaps that's what it's all about. What does it say on that? Let's go back before we move on. Does it cover oh, here we go. The black triangle in the upper left corner. What does that say though?
Black triangle in the upper left corner. Other colors have been added, such as a black stripe symbolizing those community.
Click on the black
members
triangle. Let's see what the black triangle means.
Lost to AIDS.
What does it mean?
Bad.
The
usage.
Nazis used it.
Nazi.
What? Whoa, are we
I like
onto
how that's
something
the
here?
first one.
No, we're not onto
Nazi.
anything.
But what does it mean? Does anyone in the comments know this?
No, it just said it. It said
We do have a couple comments that we should.
black
Go ahead.
stripe
Read the
symbolizes
black
the
stripe
community members
symbolizing
lost to
those-
AIDS.
Lost to AIDS?
Yeah.
Oh my God, they cover everything in this flag. In the brown, do we know what the brown is?
I thought black was, or maybe brown is for the. What's the
Oh
PC
my
way
God,
of saying this?
This thing is so crazy. These people are insane. What are the comments
So
saying?
Too Fun says, what about just keep your private things private? Why exactly do these folks wish to inflict their personal relationship / sexuality upon public space? Hashtag keep your privates private. Tucker91 says, they all look like flags of banana republics. You might be onto something there. Based Venmo says, come on, guys and gals, we need at least another viewer to ruin that stupid... We need. Is Sorry.
What's so funny?
So no, come on, guys. Guys and gals, we need at least another viewer to ruin that stupid and cliche 69 joke they claim is nice. I think we had 69
It
viewers.
is nice.
We're down to 67
I
now.
see, yeah.
So we went the opposite
I
direction.
didn't get the reference there. Here you go.
Napkin Nader says Chris getting awarded from the Children's Hospital was telling and wrong. Yeah, did you guys see this?
No.
So Chris Finke went on a podcast with Minnesota Children's Hospital, and whoever, do you guys remember the name of that doctor, that children's doctor?
No, I know who you're talking about. What's her name? Or its name? What was it? A they? Was it a they?
It was weird. It's like they/her or she/them.
Yeah.
Something like
God,
that.
the name's like on the tip of my tongue. What is the name of that?
You guys know in
It.
the comments here?
God, it's like, oh, I hate that when something's like right there.
Angela
G something, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Gifford?
something.
Not Giffords.
That sounds
Geppard?
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
Angela Cade Gopeford.
Gopeford.
Goatford?
Yeah.
Gopeford, yeah.
Anyway, they're on a-
Goepferd.
They said that because I don't know the correct pronouns, I
think
will
that'd
refer to
be
them as
Gepford.
them.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
I
mean-
they were like really hyping up Finke on this podcast. Said that Finke is a trailblazer, leading the way for children's health care, what have you. So
Wait, I just looked up Angela Gepford. She did a. Is it she? Sorry, I hate to misgender you. Actually, I don't hate it. Did a TED Talk in Minneapolis. Okay, here we go. Dr. Angela Cade Gepford, she, they,
that's what it is.
is the Chief Education Officer for Children's Minnesota, the Medical Director for the Gender Health Program, and also sees patients in the Children's Minneapolis Primary Care Clinic. Throughout there, this is how crazy it is. This is what it says on TEDx Minneapolis. Throughout their career, Dr. Gepford has worked. Why? So it says she, they. I mean, this is just grammatically stupid. Because she's saying that instead of saying her, she wants them to say their. Right? Mm-hmm. I assume that's. So they're like following her grammatical line of thinking. She's just like rewriting the English language at this point.
Well, it's so
because she's
dumb.
already identified as at least a woman.
Right. Well, that's what's so dumb about these journalists. Like, when they're writing about these trans issues, they're taking sides by using their preferred pronouns, even though when they're supposed to be remaining objective about the whole situation. It's so dumb.
What a dork. God, what a dork. In this, like, bow tie.
Yeah.
Man, I almost kind of want to watch this video, but I don't know how long it's going to be.
We'll have to watch it another time.
Yeah.
Or maybe we can make a separate video ragging on it. Yep. Yeah. Crazy stuff. People in the comments are talking about how Finke got Woman of the Year in Minnesota. That's still so ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. Yeah, not a woman. Man, it's a dude dressed like a woman.
Yep.
Right? And what is a woman, right? They
What is
never
a
answer.
woman?
You know, that's the other interesting thing. So, Matt, why am I the name slipped my mind? Matt, the guy behind the documentary.
Walsh.
Matt Walsh. You're like the blonde Matt Walsh.
That's what
I
they
call
say.
William. Yep, that's what they say. Gifford says that?
No, that was
That's what I'm going to say. When someone goes, they say, I'm going to be like, Gifford says that? Dr.
no,
Angela
who's
Gifford
the-
says they.
we had an initial joke about who says that. Who is the original they them in the legislature?
That's is that the two-spirited
Alicia
one?
Kozlowski.
Yeah,
Is that it?
Kozlowski.
Yeah. That's
The
what
goofy stare
Alicia,
looking.
Yeah, jeez. We got a Rumble rant from Napkin Nader 79.
Thank you, Napkin Nader. Appreciate that.
I enjoyed the Joe Exotic interview. That guy.
All right, let's go on to that. Yes, let's talk about Joe Exotic. Speaking of the homosexual community. Well, first of all,
And polygamy.
what's that?
And polygamy, as we were
polygamy.
talking
Hey,
about.
he said he's done with the polygamy stuff.
He did.
That's breaking news.
Yep.
So if you guys haven't seen that on our Rumble channel and YouTube channel, you can go watch the Political Junkies interview Joe Exotic from prison.
I just want to go on the record and say Jake thought the interview would be a waste of time, and Jesse and I were very persistent about.
Do I need to
doing
tell people how you got the interview so I can give them a reference why I thought it was a waste of time?
it? Well,
You said you didn't want that brought up, but now that you throw me out like that, you run over me with the bus, I might as well tell them that.
I
won't
don't
say.
know.
But here's what I learned from the interview. You guys got 15 minutes. That's all the warden would give Joe Exotic to talk to him. He was a lot more with it than I thought.
Yeah.
I thought for some reason I thought he was going to be a little dumber, right? And of course, Netflix probably took a lot of luxuries in telling the case. By the way, don't let me forget before we get done with this show. Have you guys seen the new season of Black Mirror? I watched the first episode.
I really want to watch it.
Crazy, very crazy. I'll get to it later. But Netflix probably took some liberties there with, him and his character, and he actually had some pretty interesting points. I thought it was fairly well educated, right?
No, and for being in prison, he's kept up with the news pretty well, too. You guys need to go watch it if you haven't. It's a lot of fun.
Well, the best part of that interview, in my opinion, I don't know if you agree, Dustin, but was when Jesse asked him, so if you become president, you'll be the second gay president after Barack Obama. So how many husbands will you have? And the guy and Joe Exotic started laughing. He cracked up.
He thought it was funny.
He thought it was really funny.
Yep, and he said he's done with the two husbands at one time. It's too much for him to handle. He just wants one. So Joe Exotic's a one-man man.
Now you came out with a very strong endorsement of Joe Exotic.
Sure.
For that show. Go ahead.
Yeah, for the Democratic primary, why not? I mean, I got some skepticism for RFK Jr. and Marianne Williamson. She's a socialist. Joe
What's your
Biden,
skepticism
we can't
RFK?
trust him. Well, there's a lot that I'd have to unpack with that. There's all kinds of Hillary Clinton connections that he has. He was a supporter of Hillary for a very, very long time with the, when she ran for the USN New York. And there's plenty of other things that I could get into. I don't want to trash RFK Jr.
Donald Trump was a supporter of Hillary Clinton.
No, I know. That's why I'm not going to get into it. I'm just saying, of the 4 people in the Democratic primary, why not Joe Exotic,
RFK has become more like conspiracy theory based over the years. Like he used to be an establishment Democrat kind of guy, but I think over the last 18 years, is that what you said in the Joe Rogan interview?
Yeah, I can't remember.
But real quick, I do want to say thank you, K-Wall for Life, for the $10 Rumble rant.
Hey, thanks, K-Wall.
Says cheers.
Is it K-Wall for life?
Mm-hmm.
Is it T-Wall for life as well, or is it just T-Wall?
I think I saw T-Wall for Life commented earlier.
Okay, so they both
T-Wall
went for
said,
life.
I think my grade in English would have been better under today's standards.
Yeah, no kidding.
In reference to the pronoun stuff.
Yeah. Oh, God, it's so crazy.
Let's see. Napkin Nader says, we don't want to know how you got that interview. Yeah, because you said it like that. No, because I was thinking about it. No, it was just a hard interview to get, that's all.
Yeah, a hard interview.
So Ted's...
I wasn't opposed to it. I just thought it wasn't the value. I like that you guys did it. And he wants to come back. He wants to come on this show. Yeah, Joe Exotic wants to do a live interview. Or at least his PR person does. So would you guys like to see that? We'll bring Joe Exotic live. You guys can ask questions. We only get 15 minutes. You'll get interrupted reminding that you're talking to someone in the penal system. But 15 minutes to talk to the Tiger King himself. It seems like he was really interested. I think personally, because he was listening to it, it was just a phone call, that perhaps he thought Jesse was gay by his question. That's what I was thinking, and maybe he was flattered and wants to come back on. He already mentioned he's only gotten to have one guy with him in the White House, and maybe he's doing a little prospecting, Jesse.
He said he only wants one, so
yeah, maybe he's a little prospecting. Now, your demographic, your fan base, would be very upset with that because a bunch of ladies would be like, "No way, the gays can't capture Jesse. Not our Jesse, our beloved MAGA Jesse."
I'll do whatever I got to get in the White House.
Oh, man. Nope. Nope.
Let's move on.
Oh, man.
Unless you want to elaborate on that one.
Well, do you want to elaborate on that?
No.
I hate to silence your free speech here, Jesse, but dang. Do you have something you want to come out with today?
Brad says no to Joe.
Yeah, I know. We actually called Brad when we first had a chance at that. So.
Oh, Bad Hat Harry's with Brad on that one.
Oh, really?
Maybe Joe Exotic isn't as fun as we thought.
You guys were just so flattered to have him, but yeah. I mean, the guy's entertaining. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, no, he's a lefty and he's pro gun, but
not pro Uzi though.
Oh yeah, that's where he drew the line.
Now, let's just be honest, anyone's better than Joe Biden, right? And I think it's fair to say, and this is the way I look at politics these days, is that the system's rigged against us. It's really us versus the political establishment, the elites that run this country, run this world, quite frankly. And that's the banking system. That's big pharma. That's the military-industrial complex. They're all big centers of gravity. I don't know what's the worst. Maybe the banking system, although the military-industrial complex has got blood on their hands. I think it's very fair to say Joe Biden is entrenched in that world as they come, to the point where his son, this is a story about this plea deal that his son's taken, Hunter Biden. So Hunter Biden is owed $2 million roughly in taxes after I think it was for two calendar years. So in other words, that's like a third of his income. So he's making $6 million. Doing what? What is this guy making $6 million in 2 years? He's got no skills. He's smoking crack all the time, banging prostitutes. What is Hunter Biden making $6 million doing? And obviously I say this to a lot of people that probably can't understand what he's doing, but it's a valid question. And did you know this? And this is according to the New York Post, that $2 million bill that, back taxes that he owes, apparently got paid off by someone in Hollywood. So the president's son owes $2 million in taxes. He's going to get a slap on the wrist for it. And someone in Hollywood paid it off for him. So he didn't actually pay the $2 million himself. Shouldn't we really care about who the hell is doing that and why we have a compromised president right now? Because his son is getting off. And there's also an interview, I think it was NBC or something like that. Biden's asked a question about his son and all the legal problems. And he's like, no, my son's done nothing wrong and I'm proud. Your son's admitting he's done something wrong now. Of course, it's not the felonies that he should have been charged for, right? And I also got to mention this. One of the felonies that he should have been charged for, although I'm against these laws because I'm against any gun law by the feds because shall not be infringed means something, but it's that he lied on his background check because you can't smoke crack when you're applying to buy a firearm, right? We talked about that. The ATF in St. Paul, when they legalized marijuana, they specified, hey, I know it's legal in Minnesota, but you can't go buy a firearm because otherwise you're committing a felony. That's the same law that Hunter Biden could be prosecuted for, but he's getting off.
Well, and that's why
they're not going to do that to the kid in Sherburne County.
Yeah,
they're going to throw the book at him. It's nice to have your dad be the president of the United States. And plus, here's the other thing: all these gun control laws that they push on us. It's like the old saying, well, we'll apply. Or, there's no conversation here until. Why is my phone going out the hook?
Just a reminder to silence all electronic devices before beginning the show.
My phone's always on silent. It's just I don't take it off buzz. Can you take it off buzz?
I don't have an iPhone. I don't know.
No, I have no idea.
Ooh, another L for iPhone users.
Yeah.
Dustin, I like how you left your Cane's trash on your desk there for the
What do you mean
audience
trash?
to look
I
at.
still have a thing.
It's kind of funny. So whoever's calling is calling repeatedly. I wondered if they're watching the show. Should we just go live? See who this is?
Yeah, sure.
No, I have no idea.
Okay.
That'd be mean. If it's a hater, that'd been funny, but I have no idea who it is. All right. Anyhow, so it's like, why would you guys tell us we need more gun laws when the president's son's not even following the gun laws that are on the books right now, right? And who's a bigger danger? A guy that's smoking crack cocaine buying a firearm, or some guy who built his own firearm out in Sherburne County and doesn't have numbers on the damn weapon? It's two justice systems. It's not fair. This system is just, what is so funny? Why are you laughing so much here?
People in the comments are just popping off. No,
Well,
you guys are hilarious. You're apparently funnier than I am. So K-Wall for Life says they're calling about your car warranty. Brad Ganser says Joe Exotic is calling for Jake.
I think he'd be calling for Jesse, and it's not car warranty. What is this thing?
And to be fair, I'll read the rest of the comments I'm missing too. Magyar 1880 says then he should be subject to gift taxes for anything over $30,000. Yeah, can you legally pay someone else's taxes? Like, how does that work?
That is a great point, because you can only give someone $13,000 I think something like $13,000 a year that goes untaxed. It's like, grandma, grandpa wants to get rid of some of their inheritance before they pass on. They can give their grandchild $13,000. It might be a little bit higher now. Last time I probably looked at this is a couple years ago. So how can someone give that gift and it's not taxable? That is a valid question. Very valid question. It's $2 million. So, that's still the highest tax bracket. They're paying a ton of money on that.
Well, and you got to wonder if the big guy got 10% of that as well.
Oh, my God. The system is so rigged against.
Yeah, we're screwed as a country. I mean, hey, maybe we'll turn things around, but, like, it just goes so deep, man. We're getting screwed one way or another.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I found out who was calling me, and it's breaking news, but I can't break this. Interesting.
Okay, well, you can't do
I
that
really
on
wish I
air.
could break this right now.
It's
Wow.
breaking news, but I can't break it.
Pay attention. I'm going to
Oh,
say
this is interesting.
Pay attention to Action for Liberty. Actually, you know what? Let me see. Can I break this news? We're live.
You got Jesse and I.
I
I'm
put
sure
the-
Dawson's curious what's going on here too.
I know. I wish we had like a secret channel. I wish I could pause the show real quick. I got to be respectful here, but it's actually a really interesting story here.
Brad Ganser wants you to break it. He says, "Come
Brad,
on,
I got to
man."
be respectful. If you texted me something,
Napkin Nader also wants.
Napkin Nate, if you texted me something, I don't know yet. What is?
I don't know. That's 2 viewers. I think you have to spill it now.
Come on, man. What if someone gives us a Rumble rant to break?
No.
news?
I gotta be respectful.
Okay,
I
don't
got-
give us
yeah,
a
I
Rumble
have to
rant
be
for that
respectful.
one then.
I'm just
You can give us one for something else if you were so
You could
inclined.
make up news. You just make
can
up a
make up
headline right now,
news.
and people would probably believe you.
All right, so Bad Hat Harry says, "Don't do it. Don't upset your sources."
No, I
That's-
100% wouldn't do this. Okay.
Yeah.
There's no question, no Rumble rant or anything like that. Well, I mean, maybe $1 million Rumble rant, but other than that, no, there's no. What is there a limit to Rumble rants? You got to imagine they're capped at something, right? Well, let's test
Let's put it to the test. Just keep
I
typing
beat you.
zeros.
You had a good joke, and I beat you to it. Yeah, I gotta respect somebody, but it's yeah. I'll put it this way: if we can't break on the show, and I just wrote no pressure. They should have known that we were live, but if we can't break on the show, just stay tuned to actionforliberty.com. Pop up our Twitter handle there too. It's action_liberty. Of course, we'll go right to Twitter with that. Probably won't do a video, so Rumble won't make a big deal. But yeah, it'd be an interesting story for you guys.
Yep. Oh, and no Twitter Spaces after the show today. I know you all were so eager to join, but we got some stuff going on afterwards. M1P says, "This world is temporary, but Yahweh's kingdom is never-ending. Peace, grace, love, and understanding be with you all.
Thank you.
Amen."
Yeah, thank you. That's what you got to do in this crazy world. You got to turn back to religion. I was
Right.
thinking about this morning, and it's like you see this evil in the world that exists, and some of it's very obvious, and some of it's nefarious, and it's like kind of hidden. You don't see it; it's not so clear. But the one thing that's for sure is there is these ruling elites. In fact, I was thinking this: like, if someone doesn't believe the ruling elites are really doing something really bad for our country, just ask them this question. Do you think the rich and powerful really have your interest in mind? I would imagine if you ask someone that question, 95% of the people are going to say no. Dawson, you're not very involved in politics. Obviously, you learn a lot being part of the show, but you would have just naturally answered that question no, right?
What was the question?
Like, do you believe that the rich and powerful, the ruling class, have your interest in mind?
No, and I don't think that that's a political issue. I think that's just a classist issue.
Oh, 100%. Yes, it's 100%. It's kind of like the way the world works, right? So if you believe that, then don't you think it's actually happening right now? Like, don't you think they're doing things that aren't helping us and maybe self-serving, enriching themselves? Like, for instance, COVID was the largest transfer of wealth from the middle class to the uber wealthy. So
Bad Hat Harry says, "That's why the left went after religion first, to separate people from God." Yeah, I think when you take away someone's higher calling, they look for ways to replace that. So if you're not worshiping God, you can either worship yourself, you can worship government, you turn to all these worldly things that ultimately let you down and just depress you and let you be easier to control.
Right.
It's really sad to see.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I want to talk about one other issue here, if we can. Going back to the LGBTQIA plus category, we broke the story it was last week. God, it seems like time's moving so quick. A bunch of sponsors of the St. Cloud Pride event. Now, you guys probably remember this event that happened. St. Cloud Pride put on an event where they had drag performers, and they encouraged participants to bring dollar bills to give to the performers. In fact, if you scroll to the very bottom, they say in there that you can't just touch the performers. You have to have consent. It says, consent is mandatory. Please make sure our performers are respected by not touching, grabbing, hugging, etc., unless you ask first. So, and this is actually like marketed to people 4 to 12, because they had like a ticket break at that point. Like it was $15. We thought about actually going undercover there. I shouldn't say that live because then they're gonna be all worried. But we're like, we cannot possibly give these guys any money, right? Well, you know who is giving them money? Not Bud Light. Good guess. Nice try. But someone with a demographic I would say is very much like the former Bud Light people. It's Arctic Cat up in Thief River Falls. You see in the top right there, you see Arctic Cat symbol. Now everyone expects Planned Parenthood and Target and hell, even like Amazon these days to be supporting them. But Arctic Cat, like that's crazy. Someone was telling me that the sponsorship of Golden Gloves in St. Cloud, they used to box there, and they actually called them up about asking them why they're supporting this organization. So anyhow, I think you guys and Jesse, did you do it already? Did you reach out to Art? So Jesse actually reached out to Arctic Cat, asking them why they are sponsoring a group that does this kind of stuff. I think you guys should do that too, because quite frankly, that's the backlash of Bud Light. What are you guys doing? You guys lost your mind. Arctic Cat people, they're your rural, non-city dwelling. Well, some city dwellers buy those snowmobiles and ATVs and stuff, but it's the typical good old American. I want to say male, but there are a lot of women that ride too, right? Like people that enjoy that kind of stuff. They're not the kind of people that are into this stupid LGBTQ woke agenda. And so what is Arctic Cat doing sponsoring this group?
Yeah, so what I did was I emailed them. It's arcticcatinfo@textron.com. So arcticcatinfo@textron.com. And basically I just provided these links of our articles basically telling them, people are exposing you. People know exactly what's going on.
Sorry, Textron?
Well, that's the parent company,
right?
Textron.
Mm-hmm.
So TEXTRON?
Like
yep.
Texting, Textron.
Yep. No, you got it.
Okay, interesting.
That's stock symbol. Let's see here. I'm just gonna, because this is the world we live in. TXT trades on the New York Stock Exchange. They own Arctic Cat, Bell Textron, Textron Aviation, which includes Beechcraft. That's interesting. And Cessna. So Beechcraft and Cessna planes.
Mm-hmm.
So they own a couple things. So it's a conglomerate. It looks like they're valued at about $13 billion in revenue.
Who owns the largest share or the largest couple shares?
Well, that is a fantastic point. Maybe we should look that up.
I would like to bet $100 that it is either BlackRock or Vanguard.
I bet you it's both. Hey, let's just do this live here. Dawson, pull up finance.yahoo.com. I've always used that. Don't hate on me because I use Yahoo still. Okay, boomer. Type in TXT, and that should pull up the stock symbol. Yep, just hit. There you go. All right, go to holders. Do you see on the far right? There you go. And the top one is, what does it say?
Vanguard.
Vanguard. And what's next after that?
BlackRock.
Boy, we're good at this, aren't we?
We are good.
Well, it's like almost every big stock is that way too, right?
Well, and here's the I'm sure a lot of you guys watch have been following this, but these big investing firms have a lot of sway over how they use their clients' money. So they direct their clients to buy shares in this company or that company. And often they'll recommend that they invest in companies with DEI statements, diversity, equity, and inclusion statements. So basically, these large companies, these large investment firms are telling their stockholders, their investors, look, this is important to us. Pride is important. Black Lives Matter is important. Equity is important. That's where you should put your money. And if they say, oh, well, this company's no good, their investors are going to pull out.
Mm-hmm.
So did I explain that correctly?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's even if they don't directly own the company, you know, these fund managers, it's that they have so much influence over the direction of these companies just by the nature of moving in and out of shares of that company. Right?
Well, and that's why Chick-fil-A, we talked a little bit about this last week, I think, but they have a DEI statement now because they get their chicken from Tyson, and Tyson is owned by BlackRock and Vanguard. So,
yeah, interesting how that works.
If they want to get their chicken.
Arctic Cat. So what was the email once again, Jesse?
Yeah, so
I'm guessing they don't just have a number to call.
Right, and actually, when I tried to go onto their website, the website was down. So I was lucky enough to find the email
Did we
address.
break Arctic Cat?
I don't know, but basically, you know, some of the questions I ask, people can ask the questions they want themselves. But I said, how did you support this organization and event? Was it financially? How much money did your company give them? What was the business incentive in doing this? Who approved of this support? Will you continue to support events like this? As a company based in northern Minnesota and with your products and buyer demographics of your company, it appears you are very out of step with I can't even read right now. You're very out of step with your consumers. It is time to revoke your support, or you may face similar consequences as Bud Light, Target, and others who have chosen woke indoctrination over sound business decisions.
Of course, I would argue they've gone a step further than that because this is like the real bad stuff, like supporting a group that does these drag shows for kids.
Yeah,
you know, Bud Light just made a mistake. They put a influencer, social media influencer, crazy person, right? But really, what's the big harm there? I mean, Bud Light's not being marketed to kids anyhow. That would be a legal issue. You can't even go to their website without entering your age. This organization, Arctic Cat, is actually supporting an organization putting on pride shows directed towards 4-year-olds and asking them to stick dollar bills in their private areas, which is probably breaking the law. There's also a number here, Arctic Cat, which obviously is based out of Thief River Falls, 1-800-279-2281. That's 1-800-279-2281. You could go to arcticcat.txtsv, Tango, X-Ray, Tango, Sierra, Victor.com. There you go.
We got unless you had more on this
Go ahead.
subject. We have a couple comments to catch up on.
Sure.
So, Magyar1880 said, just ask Tom Emmer to create legislation requiring Vanguard / BlackRock, etc., to be required to pass through voting rights to the ultimate shareholders, not the fund managers. Beth Moy says, are you guys going to talk about the charges being brought against Derek Thompson, including the federal ones?
Yeah, so that was just breaking here. He's now got some more charges. So first of all, Derek Thompson. Did we talk about this last Tuesday? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
We debated actually doing a show about it, but we're like, I don't know.
We don't have much to add to the conversation.
Right, exactly. So Derek Thompson, the son, well, I guess we did talk about it briefly. Son of John Thompson, the guy who infamously shouted outside of Liz Collins' house, saying, let's burn down Hugo. He became a state legislator, was a disgrace. The guy literally had a Wisconsin ID. He has a history of domestic abuse. Eventually, that's what led to the Democrats just disowning the guy, the domestic abuse charges. And then he had another very embarrassing incident with cops. I mean, the guy's a thug. He's just a terrible person. And then his son apparently wasn't raised very well because his son has been in a lot of trouble with the law, including, was it another hit and run in California?
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that, where he was in prison. He just got out of prison, got behind a vehicle, and this is like a big Suburban or a big SUV. I think he was getting chased by cops, but for whatever reason, he leaves leaves 94. This is in Minneapolis. I think it was 2nd Avenue, gets off on it. He's apparently going 100 miles an hour and rams in, T-bones basically a car with 5 women in it, and kills them all. Yeah. And if you watch the video, and Liz Collin broke this video, apparently that's the big controversy is who leaked the video to Liz Collin, but
It's hard to
if you watch the video, yeah, it's like no one's surviving.
Dude's going like 100 miles per hour.
Right. It just completely smashes it. So eventually Liz also broke the story that that it was John Thompson's son. So they make the arrest. This I don't think came out until yesterday. Maybe it was Tuesday that it was officially John Thompson. The police confirmed it was John Thompson.
Derek Thompson.
Sorry, Derek Thompson. Derek Thompson then is held for probable cause of murder. And that just got extended by a judge because apparently they're not ready to submit the formal charges. They're still gathering evidence. We just learned, didn't you tell me that there's a couple other things that they found, like a drug?
Yeah, they found fentanyl and they found an unmarked firearm, I believe, which is funny. I don't know. I mean, we're against all gun laws.
First of all, if he's a felon, which he clearly is, he's
Right.
served time in federal prison, he can't own a firearm. He can't be
Right,
in possession of a
right.
firearm. So that's all that matters, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
No, but I think I know what you're trying to get at. That it's funny that a Democrat's son is, someone in support of gun control
yeah.
is the one who's getting caught with an illegal gun.
Yep. Criminals don't follow the law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, of course, once again, John Thompson's son's probably going to prison, but if you're Hunter Biden, you're going to be just fine, That's how the system works, right? President's son going to be just fine. Of course, if you're an ex-president that they hate and a leading contender for the presidency, you're not in good shape. Here's another person who's going to get off, with just a slap on the wrist, and that's Adam Schiff. Have you guys seen this? Congressman Adam Schiff, the guy that's led the whole nation on this bogus Russia hoax for 2.5 years. He knew, anyone that acts like, oh, he was just doing his job, he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. He knew he was lying to the American public and got the media and the friends and corporate media on board. Adam Schiff knew what he was doing was wrong, and they just finally censored him in the U.S. House. This vote actually succeeded, unlike the one that Thomas Massey voted against. However, the news that I think you guys will be most interested in is who did not vote in support of this. So go ahead, Dawson, pull up the vote.
This one?
And you see here, so this is the roll call vote. 6 Republicans voted present. All Democrats are unified, saying, you know what, Adam Schiff lying and doing all that was fine. Spending how many millions of dollars was it, Jesse? It's like 32 million? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go to state. Let's go to Minnesota. Let's see how the delegation in Minnesota voted. Now, obviously, you're not going to be surprised how the Democrats voted. You see Fishbach. Fishbach's in one of the safest districts in Minnesota, solid conservative district. She voted present, which is like the worst thing. It's like, I'm not going to take a position. Why aren't you voting to censor Adam Schiff? What the hell is she doing? Voting present? That's a pretty damn important thing. This guy led us with all these damn lies for so long. So Adam Schiff officially censored, which he's taken with a badge of honor, taking a book out of any or a page out of anyone's.
Yeah, if I was censured by the House, of course I would use it to campaign on.
Right.
I would use it to, I would use it to my benefit 100%, and that's exactly what the Democrats are going to treat him as. They're going to treat him as a hero. So the only reason that this wasn't the best move is just tactically, because, now they're giving Adam Schiff a huge bump in the polls for his U.S. Senate run in California. Nobody wants that.
But at the same time, you can't let this go unpunished.
No, I know. But
I think
they could have done it in the very beginning. We've known that Adam Schiff was a liar since the beginning, ever since Russiagate was going on. So,
Right.
Since the Republicans took control, they could have done it right away. I'm not sure why they waited until now. I guess probably because of the Durham report. But just tactically, it's maybe not the best timing. But obviously, of course, he should be censured.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's one of those things where we knew he was lying, but you got to have some substantial evidence of that, right? Because that's kind of conjecture. The Durham report was like the icing on the cake. It was like, look at this thing's been reviewed, and it was known that it was a lie, right? Of course, then again, they never mounted the evidence, and nothing came from the Russia investigation anyhow. So that alone, but maybe we just didn't find the evidence. This is also the same problem that Trump has. The election was stolen, which he's kind of walked away from, in case you guys haven't noticed.
No, he hasn't. He was just saying it on
not-
Brett Baer. He was just saying, and Brett Baer was, are you really going to continue to keep saying this to the swing and moderate voters? And Trump said, I'm going to say the truth. So,
I missed that.
Trump ain't backing down at all.
Well, it's certainly not a big part of his messaging, which, honestly, why would it be, right? Because in the end of the day, people care more about what he's going to do for them than, the election results, in my opinion. But Trump doesn't have that smoking gun of proof, right? I'm not saying... Well, what's a smoking gun, Jesse?
Georgia. I mean, all you got to do is watch those videos where the girl was taking the ballots out of the machine, putting them right back through. Those were 100% Biden ballots. That was the same exact day, the same place, same time, where they said, the building is flooding, everybody get out, no election judges here. And then, Biden somehow barely wins Georgia.
Yeah.
Biden somehow barely wins Pennsylvania and Wisconsin in the dead of night, Arizona. Maricopa County, all you got to do. There's so many examples.
But that's conjecture still.
But those are all smoking guns to me.
I know, I agree. I
has-
look at this stuff and I go, this is
Agreed.
very problematic. But
Agreed. The left has answers for all those things.
Right.
So that's the problem.
No, they don't.
They
They
do.
don't answer anything. I mean, all you get, if you watch the election meetings where people are going up talking to the county officials, these officials don't answer questions.
Sorry, so they have
sit there
answers for
silently.
Georgia. They don't have answers for Arizona, which was really sketchy, especially in
Well,
2022.
are we taking Brad Raffensperger's answers? I mean,
Well,
come
no,
on.
I'm just
I'm not
saying-
taking anything that
I'm
guy
just
says
saying,
seriously.
it's not a smoking gun. I agree, it's very sketchy, and I think.
Well, and
it's
that's
a
not the
problem.
only example of Georgia either. There's
well, when I
plenty
say
of them.
smoking gun, something that we could widely appreciate is been proven one way, right?
Right.
Which, as soon as I say that, I go, maybe that doesn't exist anymore these days. Because haven't we? I mean, we all know that the COVID virus came from the Wuhan laboratory, and that's still, I guess, considered conjecture. I think we have a smoking gun. We have a couple sources that told a couple journalists, right? But no one wants to report on it. So it's just really, maybe we can get the smoking guns. The Durham report was kind of like the proof that was in
Objective
bullshit.
proof. Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for. It's basically some objectivity here. Well, here's another one that's objective. The Hunter Biden laptop did exist, right?
Yep.
And they stopped that. I mean, that, when Trump says that they basically stole election, there's a lot to that, and there's a lot of merit that we know. Like, for instance, the FBI literally saying, suppress this story. It's Russian disinformation.
Yeah, they called it Russian disinformation.
That's
as you
crazy
can
to say
find,
that, yes.
you can find pictures. You can, during this time, I remember you could find pictures and videos of Hunter Biden with these hookers. You could find videos of him smoking crack. How could it be Russian disinformation when I can find the evidence for myself with a simple Google search? I was able to find all this stuff as it was going on, as they were calling it Russian disinformation. So I think you're right that, we're in a country now where things are so divided. The media is going to propagandize people into believing one thing, no matter how far off it is from the truth. And so, we're just going to have to know the truths ourselves. And who cares if the left is ever going to accept the truth or not?
We have some answers on why Fischbach voted present.
Sure, go ahead.
So Magyar 1880 said they asked her to vote present because she would have to investigate Schiff in the ethics committee review. Most of the R's that voted present was for this reason.
But that
and
doesn't
Tucker
make sense.
says,
But boy, why wouldn't you do it?
she didn't want. Well, and Tucker says, so she voted present because she's lazy and didn't want the extra work.
Yeah, I mean that's essentially what I just heard. And why would you vote? Then vote no.
Or
then.
maybe it's a conflict of interest, potentially,
What's the conflict interest?
because you are going to be the one doing the investigating, because this is a censure, but it's
see.
also prompting an investigation. I'm not defending.
I wonder if
Fischbach.
Fishbach's got a statement
Yeah,
on that.
well, we should see
I
who's
looked on
on
the
the ethics
website.
committee then. Is it Ken Buck? I know he was one of the other people who had voted
Ken
present.
Buck
so-
is generally more conservative, isn't he?
Not really.
Really?
No, I
Okay.
mean, remember, he was like the one that was kind of starting to suggest that they needed to moderate from Kevin
Oh,
McCarthy.
really? Okay.
Yeah, he was the one who was saying, if Kevin McCarthy can't get the votes, maybe we got to find someone else. And, what that means. If a moderate's saying that, he wants someone even less conservative than McCarthy.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
yeah, Ken Buck, he sometimes has an independent mind, but, not super conservative.
I'm gonna look up on Twitter because I looked up on the website and I didn't see anything. Representative Michelle Fischbach. If she had a valid reason, at least let us know what that is. June 21st. I'm not seeing something here. I'm not seeing anything on her Twitter. She might just be bad at it. But yeah, I think you owe people an answer. Like, why wouldn't you have voted that way?
Yeah.
Why did you vote present?
If someone could provide a link in the
Yeah.
live chat here, that'd be great. Yeah, comment section is really popping today. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not going to be able to get to all your comments.
It's always popping.
It's really
It's
popping
always
today.
popping. It's popping more than normal. It's always popping.
I'd say it's popping.
We have the best. We have the best listeners on our show ever.
Okay, well, here's what I'm finding now. So, these are the Republican members of the Ethics Committee. Michael Guest, he was one of the people who voted present. David Joyce, present. John Rutherford, present. Andrew Garbino, present. And Michelle Fishbach, present. So, but that's 5. I'm trying to remember who the 6th person was that voted present. But
Of the what committee is it?
this is the House Ethics Committee.
And those are all the Republicans on the ethics committee there?
Yeah, those are the 5 Republicans on the Ethics
Interesting.
Committee. So,
So there's a 6th Republican on the ethics committee, and you're saying that person. Because, I mean, you just need one to prove that false, right? Interesting. Live fact checking.
yep.
Brad says, to defend Jesse, he does have a great hat on, although that hippie needs a haircut.
Yeah, Brad's old school like that. You know. Speaking of felons, hey, Brad, how you doing?
That's what the HRCC says, right?
Oh, man, that's some insider baseball. Unless you were on our Twitter. Didn't we do that on Twitter Spaces
We did
last
a
time?
Twitter space, which you can posthumously go back and watch. We have it recorded. I didn't use that word right.
No,
What was
that actually works. It's a funny way that you put it, but
Yeah, I'm trying.
that's like someone passed away, and like they say that with
Yeah.
like a Medal of Honor. That was very good. I like that. No, it works.
I suppose it works.
You know, that's the thing about the English language. As long as you understand what someone's saying, it works, right? It might not be grammatically correct, but as long as so that's the other thing about this transgender stuff is we don't know what you mean when you say they. It's the old Dave Chappelle joke. You guys know what I'm talking about, where he's like, the LGBTQ community is coming after me, and they go, Dave, watch out, they're coming after you. He's like, one they or many they, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The submarine that got lost had a press conference while we've been live.
They
and
interviewed the submarine. That's how you
No.
made it sound.
no, but the company that owns the submarine says that they're gone, that the people
Yeah.
have died.
Well, so the
They haven't
Coast Guard
found the-
supposedly found what they believed to be remains. of the
Debris, I
submarine.
heard.
Debris, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they haven't found like the whole submarine or anything, but they believe that the people have been lost.
Yeah, they're actually having a whole conversation in the live chat here. I was hoping to get to it. Do you want to talk about by the way, it's not a submarine, it's a submersible. Supposedly there's a big difference.
Whatever.
Yeah, what's the difference?
I don't know.
I'll
I've
leave,
just been
I'll
told
leave
there's a
you to your
difference.
journalistic integrity. I'm gonna.
As of 10 minutes ago, Ocean Gate Expeditions, the company behind the missing Titanic tourist submersible, good job,
Thank you.
confirmed Thursday afternoon that the passengers on board are believed to have been, quote, sadly been lost. But once again, that doesn't confirm anything. It just says believed to be. We now believe that our CEO, Stockton Rush, Shazda Dawood, and his son, oh my God, these are some crazy names.
Well,
Have
they're
sadly
from,
been lost, OceanGate said in a statement. These men were true explorers who shared a distinct spirit of adventure and a deep passion, interesting choice of words, deep passion for exploring and protecting the world's oceans. You saw what I did there? Our hearts are with these 5 souls and every member of their family during this tragic time. We grieve the loss of life and the joy they brought to everyone they knew. You know, you brought this up earlier. Why is this story so interesting to everybody? Like, everyone's talking about it.
The media picks which stories it wants to prop up. I mean, it is an interesting story, but it's not like something that everybody should be talking about and keeping up with. It's
but
strange.
they can choose what they want to cover. It won't work unless people are interested in clicking, right? They can
If you
cover
see
something all day
something
long, but
enough-
until there's an audience, or unless there's an audience, it doesn't work.
I don't know. I think you can create audiences. I think the mainstream media did this with Russiagate.
No. If they could if it's that simple, they'd be doing this all the time.
They do.
other-
They do it all the time.
I think that in my professional opinion, I think that the main draw to it is the fact that it's the Titanic killing people again. Right? That's the angle that I've seen everybody like.
She got the same comedy school that William went to, apparently.
It's It's
That was
interesting
funny.
to me because the first time that I ever saw it, I saw Titanic, submarine, blah 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 blah,
Yeah.
and it was like, is this a movie? Wait, what's going on? And they were like, no, like these guys went to see the Titanic and then they died.
So Odd One in the comments brings up a great point. Feel the worst for the 19-year-old.
Yeah,
which is very
duped into
sad.
that. Yeah. I don't know if there's enough money in the world that would make me want to go into a small little submersible. I guess submersible is what they call
Let
them.
alone pay $250K.
A lot of people call them submarines, but they're submersibles. I know this.
So Tucker says I
It
need
sounds
to
like a failed Elon Musk project, honestly. Like it sounds
No.
exactly like something Elon Musk would have.
This
you
is
know?
scarier
sound
than
like
an
that.
Elon Musk thing, though. Like, this thing was built in someone's backyard.
Yeah, but you
Like,
know,
it
as
was
soon as
really-
Elon tries to really colonize Mars, we're going to see a lot of dead people. Just
I don't know.
watch.
I
I
don't know
disagree
about
with that because space travel is heavily regulated.
It is very
versus
regulated. Whereas
ocean
this was
travel.
not regulated or approved or even monitored.
Yeah.
in
Plus,
any
why
regard.
would you go to Mars when all the aliens are under the ocean anyhow? Did I say
Maybe
too
the
much? I
aliens-
said too much.
Oh, we're gonna get.
I said too much.
They're gonna
I
come
know-
for us.
Bye,
I
YouTube.
know things, guys. I know things.
Was this your breaking story that aliens
No,
exist?
I can't wait till I could tell you guys the story. I'm sorry, I don't think we're gonna be able to break it. So you're gonna have to go to actionforliberty.com today to find out the story, because I got to respect what's happening to the individual. So the story: debris field discovered near Titanic in search for missing sub. U.S. Coast Guard says it's interesting to say debris field. It's so did it implode then? That's kind of what it sounds
Okay,
like.
so real quick, so Tucker said I have to go back and read his thread, which I see in the comments now that he had some interesting points. He said
Not
earlier,
great points, Tucker. You only had
but
interesting points.
Interesting points. Speaking of woke ventures, how about that billionaire who was trapped in the submarine? He said in
Submersible,
an interview,
Tucker?
submersible.
Submersible.
He said in an interview that he didn't want a team of old white guys, that he was proud of his young, diverse, in parentheses, inexperienced crew. Go get woke, go broke, and die.
Go deep.
Go deep.
Crazy. Yeah, I'm looking at the I'm gonna put this in the chat here. This is on Fox News. Go Dawson, go to line 12. I'm just dump that article in there because it actually shows the members of the crew. And I got to imagine that the people, if there's a cause to rally behind, when you look at these people, they're not going to rally behind these individuals. Because first of all, aren't they like very well-to-do, very wealthy people?
That's what it sounds like.
Okay, so
They
they're not
pay
going
them.
to they're not going to rally to that cause, right?
I mean, isn't this like Icarus too close to the sun kind of stuff? Isn't this like the whole like these guys are super rich, they want to go down, they want to plunder or whatever they're doing, and then they get what they just, I don't know.
I don't know where you're going with this.
Well,
Yeah, what are you talking about?
It's hard to I don't know how to feel like really bad for people that put themselves into a situation like that when they like their life wasn't on the line, they were out going on a joyride or whatever, and then Mother Nature is just better. So
Well, I mean, I guess how do you rectify that with like you could say someone should have been out fishing that day. There was a wind and there was a potential storm coming, right? You see what I'm saying?
No, but
Like
they really, if you look into the history one of this company, they have a ton of lawsuits on their hands for like unsafe practices.
Well, true.
And
And you would think
two-
they would have researched that too, right?
Right. Well, and two, you compare this submersible to any other underwater craft, and it's clear that this thing was dangerous.
Wait, what's the name of this company? Let's look up their Google rating.
I'm sure that it's been review bombed by now, but we can do that.
Probably.
Yeah.
What is the company's name?
Well, actually, why does the Google rating matter? Because it's not like the average Joe is going to Ocean Gate. That's the name of it, right? Ocean Gate. What is the Google review of Ocean Gate?
Oh, I saw a funny tweet the other day. Someone said, "Is this called Ocean Gate?"
All right. Well, Dawson, I just sent you an email.
Okay.
Don't worry about that. because we're gonna go now and do our favorite meme of the week. So
Yeah.
once again, when you look at that crew, I don't think it's the one that everyone wants to get around. It's a bunch of rich white people, and yeah, you feel bad for the 19-year-old, but they're not going to rally behind it. So I think if there was a cause to rally behind in terms of a submersible, some people, Tucker might call it a submarine. It's not. It's a submersible. This is the one that they would truly rally behind. This would be unifying the country and the world this Pride Month. Right there. Now, if Ocean Gate looked like that, that would be just a monstrosity if we lost it. And look, it's got the black line on it, too. And the brown one we don't know about.
It's true. It's very woke.
There you go. That's favorite meme of the week. Yeah, I guess they were close to running out of air anyhow, but if they're finding wreckage or they're finding what they call a debris field, that just means it probably imploded at that point.
Brad says too soon.
Too soon? Is that too soon? U.S. Coast Guard was expected to give a 3 p.m. press conference to provide an update on the search for the missing submersible. It really looks like they're having a hard time. This is like the gender thing. They're calling it too many different names, submersible and submarine.
2 names?
Right. By the way, I didn't even know that was a contention there until William just mentioned it. So I'm just going with it.
It's never. It always sucks to see people die, but
Yeah. Well, that's
well,
what's
not if
belong
you're
in the
Lindsey
ocean.
Graham.
I'm not.
He wants to see a bunch of...
there
Or
you go.
Derek Thompson.
The hell you aren't. You're the same deep state as Lindsey Graham. Don't give us that bullshit.
I don't even know who Lindsey Graham
Lindsey
is.
Graham's a senator. He's a chicken hawk, a war
It's
hawk.
it's a
right?
dude.
What's that? Yeah, exactly.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
What
yeah.
wasn't Lindsey Graham technically in something with the military?
He's in the either the Air Guard or the Air Force Reserve.
Yeah.
Did I
colonel.
misappropriate him calling him a
I mean, it's
a
not.
chicken hawk?
I don't
Sorry.
think he ever served. I don't think he ever
Overseas?
Yeah, overseas.
Well, he's
so.
a colonel. I mean, regardless of
He's a colonel.
lieutenant colonel or colonel, yeah,
Was he really?
yeah.
I'm gonna look this
So you
up.
can't call him a chicken hawk. He's a hawk for sure.
He's
but-
a hawk. Yeah, I shouldn't have called him a chicken hawk. He graduated from the University of Southern Carolina School of Law. Graham was commissioned as an officer in the JAG Corps in the United States Air Force. I mean, does that even count?
I think
You
it
lost
does.
That's
our
like
Air
the
Force
sanctimonious
audience here.
saying he served in the military, right, Jesse?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Wall says-
I'm just totally joking here. There's some good JAG officers in the military. And a great show, right? Hold on. Let me finish this.
Okay.
He was in the Air Force in the 80s, chief prosecutor in Europe. Then after leaving the Air Force, Graham joined the South Carolina Air National Guard in 1989, where he served until 1995. So, no deployments. But, yeah, I shouldn't call him a chicken hawk. He did serve the country. Okay, so my bad. But more your bad, Lindsey Graham, you freaking hawk.
Mm-hmm.
You have a
Yes.
girl's name.
Oh, it does say he was a birded colonel, but that's a little different because when you're in the JAG Corps, like you go in basically as a captain, okay? So you don't have like the traditional.
True.
Like if he was a colonel, well, first of all, he's Air Force, but if he was like a Army infantry officer, to get to colonel means you put like 30 years in and just 25 years probably at least.
Well, I've heard it's easier to rank up in the Army because there are fewer Army officers compared to the Air Force.
There's not fewer Army officers at all.
Or like fewer recruited or whatever. Like there's more of a demand for it.
Yeah, but it's well, once again, it'd be the same in the JAG and the Army too, or chaplain or surgeons in the Army.
Mm-hmm.
You automatically go in as a captain, right? Maybe a
Right.
first lieutenant, but you're like a captain within no time, okay?
Mhm.
Whereas then, like you're a combat arms, you're going to go in as a butter bar lieutenant, and you're going to be
Sure.
that for a couple of years.
Yeah.
So they're going to get promoted in a different way. There's a lot more colonels. It's what do they call like an inverted triangle? There's a lot more colonels as JAG officers than there are like the captains. Whereas in like combat arms, it's opposite. There's way more lieutenants than there are colonels.
But across the board, once you become a colonel, you're pretty much on the general track, are you not?
It kind of depends. Not necessarily.
Okay.
If you're a colonel in command, but once again, we're talking not really about command, although a JAG officer could command like a JAG unit, I guess. But
Sure.
yeah, if you get a full birded colonel and you're not in command of something, you're probably not going to make general. Well, that might change too now. If you're a lesbian, I guess they will promote you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're
DEI.
right, yeah, because that's what they do.
There was a Space Force general. This was a couple days ago. I saw this story. Who was complaining about these transgender laws or these bans on genital mutilation, saying that it's making it harder to pick quality candidates for the military.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Which I can't imagine that these transgenders would make great military candidates, but who knows?
Yeah, I don't know what to think about that. Yeah, it would. Well, if you believe what we believe, and I think this is pretty substantiated, that really what they are, like the modern trans movement, is really about people that want to like self-identify and like, you know, they want to create this identity different than the mainstream. Well, that's at odds with the military, right? Because there's uniformity in the military. So just on that nature alone, I think it'd be problematic. But what do I know? I don't think I ever served with a. Well, I did know a military officer that I worked with a long time ago, and I think when he left the military, he became. Sorry. See, look how woke I am. Became a woman, I was going to say. Can't become a woman. But started dressing and taking the name as a woman. Mm-hmm. So, and there is that whole case with, what's the Navy SEAL? Well, I can't think of his name right now.
Something Beck.
Yeah, Chris Beck.
I remember that because we shared a last name, but no relation.
Anyhow, my point on Lindsey Graham is Lindsey Graham was made a comment recently about being all excited about Russians dying, which is crazy. And I just heard this, and I think this is that Joe Rogan podcast that you were talking about with Duncan Trussell before, that apparently they're taking prisoners, Russian prisoners, and putting them on the battlefield. And it's
really?
Like, yeah, like they don't want to do this, but that's the only option they have. Jeez. And these are the ones that are getting like decimated by these drone attacks.
Well,
drone attacks
the
from us.
Russian prisons, they're basically like boot camp. Anyway, I used to watch TV shows about it, and yeah, I mean they force those prisoners to wake up every day at 5 a.m. and work out. So
wait, hold on. The Ukrainians are taking Russian prisoners and putting them on the battlefield, right? Not the other way around. Or
Russian prisoners are God.
So
now
prisoners who
I shouldn't
are
do this.
Russian.
You know, in fact, they were joking about this. Like they should be fact checking what they're saying. Russian prisoners in Ukraine.
Like, are they prisoners of Russia or are they
prisoners of
who
Russia?
are Russian?
This is from Al Jazeera. Russia moves to legalize
gotcha.
prisoners fighting in Ukraine war.
See, I heard it the other way.
Okay, here at New York Times, no, that's not what I was talking about. That was like freed Ukrainian POWs. Thousands of Russian convicts sent. Okay, this is from PBS here. This is from March of this year. From prison to the front lines, thousands of Russian convicts sent to fight in Ukraine. Okay, I think this is reputable. Let's go ahead and send this. Line 13 there, Dawson, in the show notes. And this is from PBS. Sorry, I lost my spot. Russians sent hundreds of thousands of troops into its war in Ukraine and suffered immense casualties. Some were drawn from prisons, both officially and through a private military company called the Wagner Group. With the support of the Pulitzer Center, Simon Ostrovsky and Yegor Troyanovsky traveled to a Ukrainian prisoner of war camp and met men faced with a stark choice: prison or the front lines. So these are like not people that are doing it for the glory of Russia. They're doing it because basically they didn't really have an option. And here you got Lindsey Graham just laughing it up that these prisoners, essentially these Russians, are just being crushed and killed by weapons that have been supplied by you and me, U.S. taxpayer money. Yeah, you can go check that PBS story out. It looks to be legit from what I can see. Full transcript attached to it.
Yeah, RFK Jr. says Russia's winning the war right now. I thought it was an interesting thing for him to say. You know, most politicians wouldn't be willing to say that Russia is winning the war right now.
Well, he even says that's not an endorsement of Russia.
Like, of course not.
Putin's
yeah,
evil.
Because and I know you're talking about the JRE podcast, right?
Yeah.
Because you're compelled to say that. That's the whole gig that they have is like, you must be a Putin sympathizer if you disagree with it. You know, I want to say this. This is really interesting. If you get past Tucker Carlson, who's no longer part of Legacy Media, he was like the only guy in Legacy Media that I recall was against the Ukrainian war. Do you guys know another example? That's it, right? And he's gone.
Right.
But I don't consume Legacy Media. I consume alternative media. And I think about all these sources, you know, like Breaking Points. We like talking about them as like an independent source. Rogan, biggest platform. Tim Pool, just to give a couple examples, those big, massive platforms, all against the Ukrainian war.
Right.
All against this bullshit. So it's like, it's fascinating that they're all pushed. Well, it's not fascinating. We know what's going on. Once again, war is great for them. They love war. They
Public
absolutely love
polling
war.
is really taking a turn. When this whole thing started, everyone was like, yeah, we should get involved. We should support Ukraine. But ever since then, I think people have been taking in these alternative media sources and seeing that, oh, wait, this maybe isn't so good at. I don't remember the poll numbers, but the American people, I think, now disapprove.
Yeah, and
of the
I'm
war as
also
a
just
whole.
seeing now Jesse Waters is apparently opposed to the Ukraine war as well. So
okay.
and the funding of it. So, but he was the only one who I could think of as maybe going to say something about Ukraine. But you're right that the majority of people in the mainstream media won't say anything, or if they will say anything, it's anti-Russia, pro-Ukraine, pro-war.
That was one of Trump's best performances in that CNN debate, or otherwise known as a town hall. What's her name? Asked Trump. She's like, so do you want Ukraine to win or Russia to win or whatever they phrased it?
Yeah.
But basically it's a gotcha. And he's like, I don't think of it as winning and losing. I just want people to stop dying.
Right.
And she pushed back, and she was like trying to make him into be this Putin sympathizer. It's like, that was the greatest answer he could have possibly given. Let's just end the war. We got to stop with these damn wars. But there's the Lindsey Grahams of the world. I want to say this is actually literally the policy of the United States right now. This is how crazy it is. The Biden administration's policy is to prolong this war to drain Russia of its capabilities for the next war.
Right. Well, and it's not like the Ukraine has been operating in good faith either. There were negotiations held in Turkey between Putin and Zelensky, and there were all kinds of agreements that were made. And then as soon as they walk away from the deal after they sign it, Ukraine just rips up the deal. They don't respect it. Putin was looking at it as a standpoint of, okay, we could make a historical agreement. I think it was on Hamas and some other regions and stuff. So it looked like, they could have been coming to a close, but the U.S. doesn't support that. Joe Biden doesn't support that. Joe Biden wants the war to continue to go. It's pretty nuts.
Speaking of fighting, the last thing we wanted to talk about today is Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg have agreed to fight in the octagon. This is not a made-up story. Probably not a lot of truth to Elon Musk's intention. I quite frankly want to see Elon Musk win, which probably has a size advantage over Mark Zuckerberg. But Zuckerberg's
Oh,
actually
you think?
trains. Yeah, he is.
I don't know. Mark Zuckerberg's probably got the height. He's probably got the reach. He's probably got the.
He's not bigger.
I don't know.
We will.
I don't know. I would think
Musk is
Zuckerberg's
not a
heavier.
small guy. He's like,
Zuckerberg is 5'7".
that's a
Really?
small dude.
I thought he was way
And he's
taller than
skinny.
that.
Musk is a bigger
I'm pretty
dude.
sure that Musk is short, isn't he?
No, Musk is like 6
Musk
feet.
is 6'1".
He's
Yeah.
6'1". But really what I want to know is weight. I think Musk might have 50 pounds on Zuckerberg.
Well, so
Here's the problem. Zuckerberg's actually been training BJJ and has actually won some tournaments.
oh really?
Yeah.
I was gonna say that Elon's been losing weight recently. You remember that picture that Kanye tweeted out of Elon Musk?
No, I don't.
Oh, it was an unflattering image of him on the boat. Got that
Oh,
weird.
remember
I
that one,
think
yeah.
I remember what
Yeah.
you're talking about.
But
Okay.
Zuckerberg has his prehensile tail that he's going to use to his advantage, I'm
He
sure.
is what?
His
He's
prehensile
saying he's a
tail.
lizard.
Oh, right.
Either that or he's a robot, and I'm not tuning into Rock'em Sock'em. Although, I want to see them come in with like Iron Man tech that's like analyzes fight patterns and like.
This
Ooh,
could be
that'd be
worth.
cool.
Maybe we should live stream this. Live react.
Well,
to it,
I don't think it's going to happen, by the way. It sounds like
That'd be cool.
Musk then jokes about just doing the walrus and laying on him.
No, it said that they were
Yeah.
dead serious.
So Brad says that Zuckerberg is 145 pounds.
Hmm.
An odd one says, after that awful white dude picture, he's been working out. yeah. So you guys know the picture. I'm
Yeah,
talking about.
not tan, walking down a boat. Yeah, I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about. Yeah. But, yeah. Anyhow, don't think it's going to happen. Let's go to comments, and then we'll finish off the show.
Tucker91 says, don't underestimate us small guys. Sometimes you end up effing with a honey badger.
The
That's
whole
true.
time, I have pictured Tucker as a bigger dude. Right? Have you not? My image of Tucker was not a small guy.
He's got a beard.
Have you seen pictures of him?
Oh yeah, on True Social.
Does he have is that?
Yeah, they're BFFs on True Social.
That's right.
Yeah.
Someone's got to fight for Trump. It's me and Tucker. It's me and Tucker. No, and there's some others as well. Dan Kalush and some others. So
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right.
Bad Hat Harry said, "Did you see the Pentagon overestimated the budget for the Ukraine war support, so now they can spend another $6 billion?" I didn't see that. Am Faith 92 says, "I worked at a church that had a lot of Russian Ukraine immigrants, and so many of them at the time said it doesn't matter. Both Ukraine and Russia are corrupt."
Yeah. That's the statement of the year. I mean, my God. Yeah, Ukraine is especially corrupt, and we all know Russia.
Well, wasn't there some treaty that Zelensky promised to sign if he got into office that was going to be some sort of peace treaty between the Ukraine and Russia? And that was what he apparently campaigned on.
That's why he won with 70% of the vote.
Right, yeah. And then he turns around and does the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
K-Wolf for Life says, "I'd gladly pay to be able to paddle Marky Zuckerbucks." Oh, Tucker says he's 5'4".
Really?
That's
Now
a
maybe
little
he's
bit shorter than
jacked.
me.
I could kind of see that.
Well, yeah, he's probably jacked. Yeah, but what didn't he say? He's 100. Well, he didn't tell us his weight. That was Zuckerberg, 145,
Yeah.
5'4", probably completely jacked.
Yeah.
That's what we're going with.
Yeah.
Don't destroy this image we have of Tucker. Right?
No,
Not that it would be bad if he
we
was.
stand our short kings out
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I mean, what are we trying to say here? I just don't
Actually,
want him to be
Dawson, how tall are you?
I am 5'5", and I weigh about 165 right now.
Okay.
and super jacked.
And super jacked.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Okay, Tucker's 140-ish.
Oh,
All right,
Nice lean.
we'll schedule a fight with him and Zuckerberg. Sounds good to me. I got money on Tucker.
yeah. All right, well, let's end it there. We will be back on Tuesday.
Zuck versus Tuck.
Tuck versus Tuck. Sounds like a swimsuit at
Yeah, I know. I
Target.
realized that after I said it.
We'll be back on Tuesday. Make sure you go to actionforliberty.com. I think I got some breaking news this afternoon. And make sure you like us on Rumble if you're not following us on Rumble. Even if you're watching us on YouTube, go over to rumble.com right now. Put in the search menu, Action for Liberty. No, I'm sorry. Put in Truth Hurts. Actually, both ones work. But go into Truth Hurts. Make sure you subscribe to us there. We thank all of the people that commented today. Do you have
And
one
there's
last
even,
comment?
on the app, I don't know about the website, but there's a little notification bell now on Rumble, so you can be sure to get an email from Rumble every time we go live.
Is that
or
true?
Post a new video.
They just
Yep.
did that?
You get an email?
That's good because they're catching up to YouTube. Yes, please do that.
Yep.
Hit notifications so you know when we go live.
Yep.
Especially if we got some breaking news. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you to all the Rumble Rant people. I think it was Nate and K-Wall were our Rumble Rants today. So
Who's Napkin Nader?
Napkinator. Oh, maybe it's not Nate. I just assume that's a Nate.
Oh, could be.
Napkinator. Sorry. Napkinator. Thank you very much for your Rumble Rants. We'll be back on Tuesday. Have a nice week and take care.